So in my last video I talked about how the expectations of others can feel like a burden on us, can feel like it's pressuring us. And that is super relevant when it comes to why guys get friend-zoned. Because often the guys that would feel like they're getting friend-zoned would experience that is often guys that you would label as people pleasers or as nice guys. Because what is a nice guy? It's a guy who treats others nicely, of course. But he does that because he has a certain level of awareness of what others are expecting, of how he comes across. And that you can say that that's often driven by motivation to be a nice person because that's one of his values, but also a lot of the time it's because there's an underlying fear of what others might think, of not living up to others' expectations, of fear of judgment from others. And all of it is linked in with shame and feeling of unworthiness. So if you take that type of guy and he sees a girl that he's attracted to, first of all, there's a very big chance that he won't feel worthy for her, and he thinks that it's in some degree likely that he'll be rejected. So there's the fear of the rejection, and also the fear of what she'll think, of judgment. And in a lot of situations, if there's a social setting, if there's social situation going on, like it's in school or it's in work, he might be fearing what the co-workers will think of him if he goes for it or if he expresses himself in a weird way. And the same for the school. Especially nowadays where there's so much pressure on guys to not harassing girls, which of course is positive, but it also creates an even deeper sense of fear of, oh no, what if I express my actual desires? And it creates even more pressure on guys to limit the way that they express themselves, to filter themselves through this nice guy filter. And so what happens when that guy sees a girl, when you see that girl that you're attracted to, instead of expressing all of this stuff that is part of you, the nasty jokes, the flirtatious, the expression of your desire for her, most cases you'll filter all of that away because that is stuff that she can think is weird, that she can judge you by, that she can reject you by. And instead what ends up happening is that you'll express yourself in the safe way, which is to be nice, in a non-threatening way. Now what that does is now you created an intention, you set an intention, a frame for the dynamic between the two of you. You create an expectation in her that you will continue to show up that way because that's the impression that she has of you. And impressions sure as hell doesn't last forever, but now that she expects you to be a certain way because that's the way that you've expressed yourself as a non-threatening guy who's filtering out all of this stuff, she doesn't even know that you have this whole side of you that you've hidden for her. And so there will be a pressure from her, an expectation from her for you to show up the way that you've always showed up, which means that you can't express yourself, and so she'll never be able to really fall for you because you haven't expressed the full you, and you'll feel an internal pressure to be congruent with how you showed up, as well as you'll feel unworthy in yourself because that's what you're communicating to yourself when you're hiding all of your personality traits to please her. You'll communicate to your internal self that you're not worthy of being yourself. And so it'll be even harder for you to express that because you'll feel so unworthy when you're around her. So the reason she isn't attracted to you, she doesn't see you as a potential partner and only sees you as a friend, it's not because you aren't man enough. It's not because you're unworthy. If anything, it's because you're treating yourself like you are unworthy and you're failing to show her the full aspect of your personality. She doesn't think that you can be a sexual being with her because you haven't showed her that you're capable of that. You haven't showed her that you desire her. You haven't showed her that you can want her, and the things that you can experience together can be anything but very shallow, very limited, nice, kind interaction. And even if you can have fun together, even if you can tell her that you're beautiful, it's missing that underlying intention of you actually wanting her, actually desiring to be with her in a romantic or sexual way. And that being said, that doesn't mean that she's the right girl for you at all, that you should even invest that much time and effort into wanting her. Because a lot of the times, guys who get friend-zoned are so hooked on the girls that they're friend-zoned by, that they've created a fantasy in the mind of what could be. And a lot of the times it'll be a lot more beneficial for them to simply let go of that fantasy, because it's not based in reality. It's based in an illusion, in a fantasy of what could be, and not what it would actually happen. Even if you guys were together, it wouldn't be as magical as it is in your fantasy. So this video is a little bit limited to the reasons behind friendzoning. In the next video I'll cover more details of how to avoid that. So if you did like this video, chances are you'll like that one as well. And thank you for watching. Please share your thoughts, please subscribe, and remember to stay true to you.